Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday! It's Mother's Day here at the Let's Go Devils podcast virtual studio. We have Cam Janssen here with us tonight. I'm here with Beer Baron, Shorts Guy, and Scotty of Sirius XM Liquid Metal. Hey Cam, how are you doing tonight?
What up, boys? Was that she sang this national anthem just for you guys, by the way? I miss her. She has a beautiful voice. Beautiful voice.
Arlette.
That was lovely.
Yeah,
Arlette.
That was actually at my wedding. She actually sang the national anthem at my wedding about a few years ago.
Really?
Before my first dance with my wife. Yeah. Shorts Guy was there. He was blowing the air horn, waving his towel like it was a hockey game. So it was a good night. It was a fun night.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Yeah.
We were instructed by the groom to make it sound as loud as possible when she came out. So, and we did our job the best we could.
I will say this. Anytime the national anthem goes on, though, like, you're standing there, either you're on the ice, which is like amplified by a million, but if even on the bench, you're just like, God, let's go. And when she sang like that, her voice was beautiful, and you just get riled up, man. So that brought back some good memories. So thank you for that, by the way. Now I'm jacked up for you guys.
Very cool. I think Beer Baron's feed just froze again. I think he's intimidated. I think he's intimidated by you, Cam.
It's called quarantine podcast, buddy. Trust me, we all get it, man. Anybody doing this stuff, it's all good.
Yeah, but thank you for coming on. On this day. It's actually Mother's Day, and didn't realize it when we asked you to come on. So really appreciate that. Oh, Beer Baron's back. That's great.
Hey,
God, my internet is going. It's bad, dude. Just too many people doing whatever they're doing on the internet right now.
Oh, maybe you know what, Beer Baron. Maybe all of the kids in the area are finally doing their homework and submitting all of their Google Classroom assignments that they've neglected to fill in for the last, 6 weeks.
I highly boys.
Both
Dude,
of us are
it's
teachers.
tough.
So.
Is that tough though? Are you guys, if your parents going through this, I'm talking to so many of my buddies that have kids, and they're like, the homework I have to orchestrate throughout this process, this homeschooling process, It's so difficult, and the kids are getting worn out. They're like, "Oh my God, again and again!" Like it's stagnant. It's tough for them, man. It really is. That's why I have 2 cats, and I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, it's interesting to say the least. Like I have 2 kids of my own. I have a 4 and a 2, and then I have to teach on top of that. So sometimes like they're in the middle of it, and they'll come like running in. But it is what it is. You make it work and just kind of make the best of it. I suppose.
It'll pass. But the one thing I do think, like, it's good to be around your parents teaching. I guess that's okay. But the big thing the kids are missing is socializing. I mean, the social aspect at that age sucks. You have to talk to people, not just your parents, uncomfortably talk to people. And that's going to get you far in life when you're comfortable doing that, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, it's funny too because we missed it too, like that socialization of just being able to be walking up and down the hallways, like talking to everybody and just get out of your house.
I know, man.
I know,
Trust me.
It's completely different, and I feel so much for the kids that are spring athletes. Like we had we have a girl out here at our high school that was 2 hits away from the all-time record going into the season, and she's a senior. Yeah, it just you feel for all those kids.
All my classes on purpose, and then just stay back a year.
Then just stay back.
Well, that's what I did, but we weren't in quarantine. I stayed back 3 years, but there was no virus going on. Trust me.
So, Cam, before we got on, first of all, thank you so much for being on. It's a huge honor as always. And before we got on, we were talking off air about that podcast that you had with Rupp and with Prust and with Carter about the line brawl. And oh God, I froze again. Oh no, I didn't freeze.
Sorry, you're good. You're good.
Oh, so bad. But you were saying, well, talk us through how did that all come together? How did you guys get to that message out there that you wanted to do something like that?
Well, first off, the Zoom. Can you guys hear me? Okay. By the way, just let me know.
Yep.
If you can.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
The Zoom thing's blowing up, and Mike Rupp, who was a former teammate of mine, a Stanley Cup winner. I think he scored 2 big-time goals in Game 7 in 2003. I'm sure he will remind you when you talk to him. But he called me up, and he's like, hey, let's do something. We have a great group of guys. That is a unique situation that we had in MSG, of all places. It will never happen again, probably. Like, think about this. That line brawl will never happen again. 3 guys off the bat going toe-to-toe. No way in hell. So we thought that it would be cool because, again, you're not talking about, oh, I punched you. No, you're showing people how cool hockey players are to each other. Although you went through battles after battles for years and years and years. Prusty probably gave me Brandon Prust probably gave me a concussion. I broke his jaw. He did this. You would think we would hate each other, but that's just not the case. And it's so funny, and we make fun of each other, and it's just all fun. And I think a lot of people saw that and are like, oh my God. And I don't know. I think it's just good to show people that hockey guys don't really hold grudges at all.
You were saying before, like you've never had like any beef with anybody while you're playing. You never hated anybody on the ice. You never did anybody ever challenge you to a fight? And then you're like, all right, let's go. And then they like back off, and you're like, dude, you're like,
oh hell yeah, oh God yeah. That doesn't mean I hate you. No, here's how I'd hate you. If you, I don't know, it would be tough. If you were an ass off the ice to me and chirped me in the papers or something like that, which never, I mean, Avery did it to me a couple times, but that's his shtick. I had him on my podcast, and he was the coolest guy ever. He's bizarre in every way possible, don't get me wrong, but he was cool, and he stood there and answered questions for an hour and a half. Like, I don't know. I never really had a problem. I wanted to kill a couple guys. Don't get me wrong. And I use that term loosely. Don't get me wrong. But like Ben Eager choked me out one time so bad, like got underneath my neck and choked me till I turned purple. Then we go in the penalty box. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you. Then he goes out and he scores a goal. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Like at the time I hated him. But now it's like, I don't know. We talk to each other on Facebook. I don't have any, like everything bad that happened to me in hockey was on me. The players, everybody I play with, coaching staff, everybody's treated me great throughout my career, and I'm lucky for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, you always wonder that. You see, like we were saying before, you see people you see you guys like go at it, and it's like just hauling off, like reaching back as far as you can.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I want to hurt you, of course. And at the time you knew, well, this is I got to put a show on. I got to it's my job, but I like doing that. Not hurting people. I like going out and playing aggressive and hitting guys. And sometimes you get your elbow up. Sometimes you hit them a little late. And, it's just a game, and you get through it and you get over it. And guys are all pretty cool. They're always pretty cool about it, especially in the hockey world. The other sports, I don't know as much.
Yeah, but kind of as your role there as the guy that would be willing to get into the fight, you guys all had that mutual respect for each other, and that was kind of part of the whole thing, though. That was part of your game. That was part of their game, and that was part of your job. You would go out, beat the crap out of each other, and then next shift, go out.
Well, I think that was part of it, but past 2004 era, when they got the new rules in, you still had to be able to skate. You still had to be able to get the puck off the wall and make a play and cycle the puck in the offensive zone and make block shot. Like you had to put your game together. It's just that was the big part of it, where you need to be intimidating. You need to hit consistently. You need to be scary as a fighter. And if somebody's going to go, you better put a show on, not just grab each other and throw you down. It's that was part of it. But it's people think that role after the lockout in 2004 was just 265-pound guys that were jacked up wanting to fight. No, you had to play. The game was so much faster after they took away the hooking and clutching. You had to be a player and put that all together as an enforcer role. So it wasn't as simple as you really think.
Hey, Cam, going back actually to the line brawl, which if anyone listening now hasn't got a chance to see your podcast for everyone, it is great. But we always expect enforcers, tough guys, just to be fearless. But that moment where you're on the ice and you realize there's going to be a massive, like everyone is lining, like what is that like as for you? Like, we can all say, oh, he's probably ready to go. But like in honest, in real world, like what is that like? You're lining up and you're like, wow, all three of us are all going to go at it right now.
For that particular one, I wasn't as nervous because I fought Ruppy a bunch. I wasn't scared of him. I really, no offense to him, but it doesn't matter. I wasn't really afraid of Prusky either, that he's really going to hurt you. He's caught me before, and it's going to be a good fight, but I'm not. It's not Derek Bugard. So that fight, I'm like, let's just go. But a couple fights though with some of the big boys, when you're playing against Minnesota in like 2009, where the boogeyman was knocking cats out left and right, or he's knocking 13 guys out in a row. Then I got to go up there, and he buries somebody through the boards, and I'm like, oh boy, thank God Brad Staubitz fought me instead. But that was terrifying because he's going to punch through your skull and he's going to set you back. Ask Todd Fedoruk. Right. Ask Jim Vandermeer. Ask Brian McGrattan. He'll knock you stupid. And those guys scared me. Not too many of them, but there's a couple guys that were horrifying, and he's definitely one of them. But fighting Prusty and stuff, yeah, he can knock you out. I can knock him out. But that's just like, let's just put a show on, at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were there any guys that you were like
moment of like, oh, sorry. You got into that like moment of just almost like a spectacle, because I mean, you're looking at the bench and you're seeing DeBoer and Tortorella just going at it, and it's just, it's just got to be just one of those wow moments. Looking back at it now in hindsight,
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous. It's like again, you know what's great? Okay, fighting's going to be out, and that's fine. I mean, they're still going to be in, but it's not two monsters going toe to toe. It's emotional fights, and I like that. But for me, on a personal level, and being in the media world now, and having to talk about your career, and you want people to follow you, and whatever the case is, it's nice to be part of that last of the dinosaurs, where when everybody thinks of fighting, you're in that category because you were the last big boys doing it. You catch my drift on that?
Right. The last gladiators.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and that's good for business. Really, I mean, as a business side of things, like people want to hear about your stories because it was a lot more hardcore than what it is now. That's why we like hearing what Brett Hall has to say in the early '90s when they were doing their thing pre-social media. Like, oh my God, you guys got away with anything. It's just like it's a different era, and we're going to be molded into the last tough guy era, and that's good. That's good. I like it.
You're saying like Bugard was one of the scariest guys you had to fight. Did you ever fight anybody that was just like out of their mind where you're like, holy crap, like this dude is just insane and I almost don't want to do it?
Hell yeah. I mean, they're all insane, man. We're all crazy. Guys talking to me like that. But the guy, I'll give you a handful of guys that were horrifying. Derek Bugard, Colt Knorr,
Right.
Steve McIntyre, monster. Georgie LaRock, and he just got out of Corona. He's doing well, by the way. Awesome guy.
Yep.
Big Donald Brashear was tough. Josh Gratton was tough. I'm trying to give you guys that aren't. And Big Georgie and Donald Brashear are big boys that play in the league. Brandon Sugden. There's a lot of guys that played in the American League that never really played in the NHL that were so freaking tough, you can't even explain it. And, and they don't get the recognition that they should, but they didn't play in the NHL, so they're not in the spotlight. But those guys, there are so many guys, man. It was crazy. Todd Fedoruk in his prime, he'd knock you stupid and then hit you with going 100 miles an hour because he could skate. So I look at it like the big, tough guys that just threw hard were horrifying. But then you deal with guys that were 6'2", 240 that could skate like the wind and catch you behind the net too. So you add the hitting element on there, that makes you extra scary. Good thing I never had the puck.
I would always love when there'd be a fight in a game, but maybe because this is my position, whenever there would be a good goalie fight, I thought that there was nothing better. It always seemed to be like the rare thing that happened, and when it was good, it was good. Like I've seen some clips just bringing me back to when Wah fought Mike Vernon, and then when Wah fought Chris Osgood, like those fights. And then you look at a goalie like Ron Hextall was nasty as anything too. And then you had your just you some of the goalie fights just they weren't very good, but then you would every now and then have a goalie that would just come out and just start hauling off on someone, and those are always my favorite fights to see, would be those goalie fights. But I'm also a goalie, and I'm a little bit partial to the position and partial to seeing that as well. So it could be me.
Well, you already
Ray
are
Emery.
bizarro for being a goalie. Ray Emery's the toughest goalie ever to live. No, I'll tell you that right now. Ron Hextall, I like you. Who else? Who's a tough dude? Cloutier from Vancouver.
Cloutier. I couldn't remember his name.
Cloutier.
Yeah.
Remember him? The toughest goalie ever to live so far, as like intimidation, want to go, was Ray Emery. God rest his soul. Ray Emery was the toughest son of a bitch you'll ever meet in your life as far as a goalie's concerned. He intimidated the players, and he wasn't even, that's how tough he was. I fought him in juniors one time. Embarrassing. Like it just, he fought Josh Gratton one time, toe to toe. Then he gets in that brawl with Buffalo with Andrew Peters, and he's just a scary human being, man.
Right.
And he was a good goalie. It was just crazy. He should have played forward.
Yeah.
What the hell was he thinking?
Hey, Cam, actually, on the subject of goalies, however, this goalie you would never see in a fight. Devils all-time great, obviously, Marty Brodeur. He just actually had a birthday recently.
Never heard of him. I never heard of him.
Never
Who
heard
is
of
he?
the guy, right?
No,
is
never
he?
heard of
What?
Is he the guy that got more points than me every year? Yeah, I know him.
I don't think he ever got out of the AHL. He was like one of those guys you were talking about. That was
Yeah, he's a minor leaguer. Minor leaguer. What?
But I
love
was
him.
just wondering if you could share just a good Marty story that you have from back in the day playing with him. Just a good funny story that maybe the listeners haven't heard in a while or before or anything like that.
Well, I got to know him and became real close with him. I kind of forced that issue. So I was a young kid, and I didn't want to hang out with the rookie kids. Like, why do I want to hang out with the rookies? They don't know anybody. They don't know the city. They don't have any money. They don't know what's fun. They don't know anything. And they're kind of nerdy. Like, I'm like, Marty, where are you going? I'm going to sushi. I'm going with you. Okay, fine. So I kind of like forced myself on that. But Scotty Gomez, Colin White, John Madden, Pando, all those boys, they accepted me, and I made them laugh. And they knew I worked my ass off, and I was working on my game, and I would stick up for them. So they brought me into their group, and I took advantage of every moment, man. Like, Marty was awesome, and my wife and Jen are friends. and she's still living in St. Louis. But we always have a little side bet going on who would get more points every year. And I think I owe him a lot of money. I think he's going to give me I gave him I think I gave him an IOU. You know, one of those IOUs that are worth a lot on Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, I signed an IOU and I gave it to him, but I haven't seen him in a little while, so he's going to collect here.
Hold on to that one.
I know, and he's got like 5 more points than me every year. Like 5 more points. It's ridiculous. He's got like 70 points in his career. It's embarrassing on my part. Lord,
Oh my God.
Oh, that's too good.
yeah, I know. I would when I scored on him in practice, so I would like make a scene. He works so hard.
yeah?
I don't want to pump his tires up. So you guys all know it. He works so hard in
Yeah.
practice. And so when you did score on him, even if it's like 50 shots in a row where everybody's coming down the wing, like simple, even if you scored on him and then, I'd give him that look like, yeah, like I own you for a second. And he'd look at me like, like it made you better, man. He made you better, dude. He did.
Did you ever throw an old deke at him and see if you could get one by him?
There's one on YouTube. Look it up. It's a shootout. I think I rode my stick too. Taidomi style.
Did you keep the puck?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Somewhere on here. I put it on a plaque.
Dipped it in bronze.
That's how pathetic I am, by the way. That's how pathetic I am. It is
By the way,
what it is.
the jerseys that you have hanging on the wall, obviously they're yours, but are those game worn or are they just?
Yeah, they're game worn. Yeah.
So you get
those are game worn ones.
you get a brand new jersey every single game, or how that? I've always been curious, like how the hell that works.
No, not every game. No, but every like event, maybe a Christmas event that they'll give you a jersey to wear and maybe you'll keep it. At the end of the year, you'll get a game worn jersey. Excuse me, playoffs, maybe you'll get one. But usually I give them all away. Like every time I came home from playing in Jersey, I would be Santa Claus. Santa Claus would come home in May after we get done with the playoffs or whatever the case was, and I would have Hugo Boss stuff because they'd sponsor us. I'd have jerseys signed by all the guys to my buddies. I'd have sticks. I'd have everything, equipment. And I'd get home, and all my buddies would come over, and I felt like, honestly, Santa Claus. And I'd be like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And now I look back on that, I'm like, son of a bitch. I should have kept all that stuff. Because I go to my buddies' houses, and all my stuff's hanging up on their wall. I'm like, oh, my God, I should have had that. But it's good, man. We love it. I spoiled everybody.
Now, did you because you living in St. Louis, did you make anybody or turn anybody into a Devils fan when you were playing for the Devils? Or
oh hell yeah, dude! Absolutely. Oh, absolutely, big time. You know what? I'll tell you this. You know, my mom and dad not only were Devils fans, and they decorated everything Devils when I first got drafted. I mean, everything. They're Lou Lamoriello fans more than anything. My mom and dad love that man so much, and so do I. But every time, I've said this before, I would call them when I'm 21, 22, young, and I knew he was mad at me for something. I couldn't pinpoint what I did, but it was something I did wrong, usually off the ice. Not on the ice. I'm always good on the ice, and in practice, I busted my ass. I was never late. But some off-ice stuff, I like to do my thing. And I knew he was, and I would call my parents. They'd be like, what'd you do? What'd you do to that man? Is he mad at you? I'm like, I know, we're good. Jesus Christ, settle down, Mom. Like they just, you know, he took a chance on me. He signed me right off the bat. I got some money in my pocket so I could take care of some stuff I needed to at home. I had money to work out, and he just took a chance on me. And then he took another chance on me, and then he took another chance on me, and he brought me back. So it's like, you know, I'd do anything for that guy. He was so damn good to me, but I busted my ass for him too. And that's, I think, the reason why he always brought me back.
What was that like meeting Lou for the first time as a young player? And you know, your first meeting with him must have been just absolutely just pure intimidation.
Yeah,
the most intimidating man I've ever met in my life. And we talked about Bugard earlier. He's the most intimidating. He's my first boss. Saved my family, like helped my family get out of and I know I did that too. Like I did what I needed to do for him to do what he needed to do. But I remember the first time I met him in Toronto. It was the first meeting. So I go to Toronto for the draft in 2002, which is awesome, by the way. Like just a kid from Eureka, Missouri, going to Toronto for an NHL draft. My buddies didn't even know Like I couldn't even explain to them what I was doing. Like, what? You're getting? I'm like, yeah, I'm going up there. But I had to meet with like 20 teams, right? They were the first team I met with 6 o'clock in the morning. And I walk into this little room, and it's Lou and Dave Conti and this like 5 guys in this tiny little room. I'm like, oh my! I walk in there, and he goes, "Who do you mold your game around, or whatever?" And I go, Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky put together, huh? And they didn't laugh. And I'm like, Jesus! Like, you get robots. All these kids are robots, and I try to be funny. They didn't laugh. And I'm like, okay. I go, Ty Domi. And he goes, we don't like Ty Domi. I'm like, oh, because Domi hit Niedermeyer. And remember that? He elbowed Niedermeyer. Mm-hmm. So that was like 0-1. So this is like 0-2 or whatever. It just, I couldn't say the right damn thing ever. But I knew after that, they looked, I remember looking back and seeing Lou, and he was smiling, looking at Dave Conti when I was leaving. And I'm like, I got him. Cool. All right. He gets my humor. You know, like that's, I was different than all, like everybody else walks in like, No, I'm like, hey, what's up? Oh, Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky. They're like, oh, Jesus. But at the end, they laughed about it, and it worked.
That's so funny.
I'm embarrassed.
That's really cool. Just before, Cam, actually, we were saying, you kind of mentioned, playoffs, with the jerseys and everything like that. Just wanted to get your take on, just the situation right now. How do you feel about, what's going on with the NHL and, the league and where everything stands and this shortage? Do you want to see like a playoff format come back? Do you think we should just wipe the season, stop it where it is? What are your thoughts and opinions on it?
Here's my thought process on this whole thing, and it has nothing to do with the NHL. The coronavirus is the most confusing virus ever to exist. Think about it. Like, it's like, do I have it? Do I not? Oh, some lady died over there, but he had it over there, and he didn't die, and he didn't even know he had it. So is it that powerful? Is it that threatening? What the hell is it? Is it the Spanish flu back in the early 1900s? Hell no. People are dying from that left and right. Is it the bubonic plague in the 1300s that killed half the world population, where you have boils on your neck and you're like, no. It's like, do I have it? Do I not? Oh, the nursing home up the road, 10 people died there. Oh, not good. It's confusing. It's confusing. Everybody's confused. It's not politics. It's not even politics anymore. It's not like half the people are like, oh, Republican. No, it's more like half the people are scared, and the other half of people are like, I have a small business. Open the hell up. I don't know. I'm not scared of this thing. I don't, no one I know has it. So there's two sides of every story. So as far as the NHL, it's like, are they going to be the pioneers to start this off, or is it going to be MLB? So if golf goes, who cares? That's an individual sport. Hockey's different. Baseball's different. Football's different. It's contact. You're in each other's face. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. If I acted like I did, I'm lying to you. But all I know is this thing that's going on in the world right now is confusing more than anything, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
it makes sense.
Right?
And actually, if as a former player, like, how would you feel comfortable with going back and playing games?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
After being stuck with my family for 4 months and not playing hockey and losing money, let's go. I'll take that risk. Absolutely, I would. And so if everybody's like, well, what about their fan? Like, look, this is what they do. They're making money. Get out of your house, take the risk, and go do it. That's easy for me to say because I'm not doing it. But on the other hand, if I was playing and I'm like, no, let's finish this off. Well, there's a risk. Well, fine. I'll deal with it. That's how I would be. I'm not saying everybody should be that way. I'm just saying, like, if we're going to get this thing going.
As a player, you'd want to finish the season.
Of course. Yeah. If that means I have to be away from my family for a little bit, like, okay, yeah, let's go. Because I'm taking care of my family, making as much money as I can, and doing my job. I don't know, man. I think a lot of people are feeling the same way as me as far as players, but there's a couple people that are probably like, I'm not leaving my family. I got 40 in the bank. What do I care? I don't want them to get sick. So you got that too. And those are the loud ones because they're the big stars.
Yeah, and it's crazy for my family, for example. Like, my wife owns a tattoo shop and my father-in-law owns a bar, and they were both mandated to shut down, and they can't open up even if they wanted to right now. So it's stressful and it's scary, and like we don't know what the hell's going to go, what's going to happen, and financially it's like it sucks. But at the same time, like you said, half of us, like, we feel like just let's screw it, like whatever happens. Let's just open up and like figure this out. And I look at sports, and I, like, as a fan looking at sports, I'm like, if the NHL, if the players, if you guys felt comfortable playing in like the middle of Manitoba or wherever, and they had like 3 rinks that they could house everybody and put everybody up in a hotel, and everybody was cool with it, great, do it. It'd be awesome to see hockey again, but at the same time, it's like
it'd be like the Olympics.
It's confusing. All this is so confusing. It's like,
I know.
It's like, do we want to like rush through it and be like, all right, like all of us are going crazy. I feel like I'm going to put an axe through a wall and do the scene from Shining in a little bit, but
do it. We'll watch it. You'll get a bunch of views.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll broadcast it.
I think people are worried. I think organizations are worried that they do start it up and all of a sudden somebody gets it. And not that they're going to die from it, because they're athletes. Usually that doesn't happen with this virus. Now, on occasions it does. There's some young kids that died, but it's not threatening children, which is an unbelievable thing. Or, it's older people, and that's not great. But on the other hand, it's like not as threatening. So I think that if it does happen, and all of a sudden you get cases of it, and then you're the league that started, I don't know. Again, confusion is a key word here.
Yep.
I think we're going to, we're kind of get a sense of that soon, because as the last I heard, the Bundesliga in Germany is about ready to start, I think within the next 2 weeks, playing games again.
Good.
So I do know there was a second division team where players have it and they're not going to start right away. But I want to say Germany is going to be the first major pro league in the world to try to get things kicking again. So, and that'll be interesting because, especially with soccer and Germany in particular, the crowd is such a big part of everything, as it is with a lot of with all major sports. So if they go without crowds and closed stadiums, it's going to be so different. But then you also have to manage, are people just going to show up on their own because they're so starved for sports that they want to be outside with it. And in Europe, right before all this shut down, there was a soccer game behind closed doors. 40,000 supporters showed up outside. So when all this starts up, they're going to have a way to manage the people that just show up regardless of what anyone tells them, because people are going to do it. No matter what you tell them.
I think that's okay. Then we'll manage it. Manage it. Get police out there. But you can't stand here. Fine. Just like if the Blues host it, if St. Louis hosts this pod theme that they're talking about, right, where like you'll have 6 teams in one city with their facility that's up to date for being as professional as possible. Put it this way: if St. Louis hosts it, these crazy fans in St. Louis are going to be going out there. Then you get the police out there and say, no, you can't, and then deal with it. Mm-hmm. That's it. So you're telling me now? Let me give you an example. Baseball has, like, the Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals have an unbelievable TV contract. So if they're playing, like, that money's coming in, everybody's going to watch that game. But as far as the Blues are concerned, their money comes from people going to the games. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But damn, if you put any game on, people are going to watch it. I've been watching Sopranos reruns. So honestly, Kate and I are watching like Sopranos from the first season all the way. I think we started over 3 times. So like, I'm sick of that. I love Sopranos, but I'm sick of it. I want to watch hockey. Or baseball or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Look at the viewership the NFL had for their draft. It was just the draft, and their viewership was through the roof because there's been nothing else on. And I will say this: I've seen more random sports. Like, I didn't know there was a college championship for spike ball, but I saw that on TV because of the void of there's a void of no sports, and all the random sports are coming on. It's
shocked.
Like spike ball has spike ball has a championship. My mind was blown.
Yeah, I do believe Korean baseball has started at like 3 a.m. on ESPN. Yeah, just like,
and then they get into a brawl. They got into a brawl, right? The Korean. They got into I think I read that in a paper. They got into a brawl their first game, and they all came together.
I gotta look that up.
Spreading everything around. I know. Look at it. I
That's
could be wrong on that. Don't quote me.
You
Don't
got to
quote
think
me.
about the guys that are like those degenerate gamblers that are like, I need something. They're like betting
Yeah, I
on
need
children
something.
running down the sidewalk. The kid with the
I
orange
have-
sneakers.
under on Korean baseball.
I've got a friend. That's been gambling on darts because that was the only thing to gamble on was darts, and soccer in Belarus never stopped. So he now has a soccer team in Belarus, and he's been gambling on darts for the last 3 weeks.
I won $300 the other night on horse racing. I went next door and we were so bored. We're like, there's horse racing on, and I don't even know. I'm like, give me the yellow one, number 17. Yeah, give me that one. And I won a couple $100. Like, I might even thank God I'm not a gambler, but I think that somebody wrote something on the face. I don't know if I'm going to word this correctly, but have Vegas start betting on different things and control the market a little bit. Because anything they do their homework on things. So if this thing's really that serious, I don't know. I got to rephrase that a little bit. But the point is, people are starving for attention. They're starving for something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can find a way to make something work that's somewhat safe, it's going to work. And it's going to work. I mean, so there's always a balance. Like, what's the balance between these small little companies like in Eureka where I live, like going under, and the threat of this COVID-19? Like, what's the balance? Am I that scared of this thing? Or am I scared of my business going under and my kids aren't eating? Like, what? Yeah. Like, can we? Like, there's got to be a balance to it, and I think it's trending in the. I'm starting to not worry too much now. Jersey's different. Jersey and New York are completely different than where we're at in the Midwest right here. So you got to understand that too. People are like, I don't know anybody that has it. Why am I not working? So people are getting pissed, man, on both sides. It's very, very bizarre. Again, keyword confusion.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to move into something that actually we were speaking about earlier that was probably providing a lot of confusion for Mr. Martin Brodeur. I've been told that the shootout breakaway goal, we got video. Sam Wu, are you ready to rock this video?
Find it.
Got the video. Yep, found it. Let's just play it.
Now, Cam, let's bring us through here. Bring us through.
I will. Yeah.
Cam?
Yeah.
Marty didn't look too
almost
happy.
Victory lap all the way around.
Oh yeah, see how the crowd went crazy and everything. I almost toe picked. I don't know what. Like my ankle's kind of like. I think I hurt my ankle on that. I don't know what the hell I was doing. He must have been really tired, but there was a lot of people on the stand, so I at least got the crowd going and the boys going a little bit. He was not happy. He's that competitive. He was actually pissed at me for like 3 days after that.
I bet you he'll never forget that move. He'll know that's your move coming each time. He's gonna have that prepared.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and like put my foot out. I don't know what he probably thought I was gonna go 5-hole there because I'm not very creative, but I got him. It is what it is. Send that to him, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's funny. Like you were saying before that he's that competitive. Is he probably the most competitive dude that you've ever played with?
Good question.
There's some crazy cats, man, that I play with, and they don't even have to be Hall of Famers. Like, you know, a lot of Jeremy Yager was crazy. Yags is crazy. He would sit next to me. I was up for 3 months, and Lou put me right next to him in the locker room, which is hilarious. And he would have a Bible in his stall and is it a rosary? A rosary? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
with the cross? Sorry.
Yeah.
And I would take it, and he would lose. Oh my God, he would lose his mind on me, and I'd be like, okay, oh God. And if I had my stick a little bit in his stall, he would lose it. He was awesome. He would come into the rink at 3 a.m. and do stuff like he was psychotic. Marty didn't work out like that. He was just competitive in practice and games.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yags was competitive every second of the day.
That's
like Jordan.
It's so funny because like these are the things that we always wonder about because you know obviously as a fan like you watch the game you're only allowed so much access so like that stuff I find that stuff sometimes more interesting than like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and he froze.
Frozen.
I'll finish. No, you're right. No, it is weird. And some guys are different. Some guys are competitive. Again, Marty's not going to go do parachute runs at 3 a.m. Yogs will do that. But Marty's going to like not give up on a 2-on-0 in practice and like make a scorpion save and then like flip you off like I own you, you know, not flip you off, but like give you that look like I'm the man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God. Big time. I loved it.
If you get scorpion saved, I mean, like it's like you got to like throw a little something out there, you know.
Oh yeah, you give you that look like, oh, what's up? I'm like, yeah, I know. Here you go. I'll bow to you. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta do it. You gotta do it. He's the best. You gotta do it.
So we know what happened when he left, and you're a native person from the St. Louis area. What was it like when he went out there for the rest of the town? How well was he well received? Like I don't know. Like all I know is for me that's the reason I played goal, and he's wearing another jersey, and it just felt so weird. But I always wondered what it was like on the St. Louis side of that.
All right, let me break it down for you. I think the goalie situation with the Blues organization has been somewhat of a problem throughout their existence. Think about it. Roman Turek in the 2000s, where they won the President's Cup. Cujo couldn't do it. Grant Fuhr couldn't do it. Halak couldn't do it. Ryan Miller coming in couldn't do it. Jake Allen couldn't do it. So I think that he was a free agent, basically. So they're like, let's get him involved, not just with the team, but with the organization and with the people and the Blues fans and his knowledge. Let's pick his brain. Let's have him play and then retire here and then sit by Doug Armstrong and just be a sponge and learn the ropes and be around. And now Marty Major is a part of the Blues alumni. It just helped the city, it helped the organization. And then he goes down and he does some work with the goalies and gives you endless knowledge. And so I think that was part of it. But to answer your question, was it weird? God, weird as all hell. Very bizarre watching him with the Blues uni on. And he was okay. But he learned a lot being out over here. He did a lot. And that was like actually him working under Doug Armstrong was a grind for him big time. Like, he had to travel all over the place, like, scout, do this. But he learned so much. And now he's got a great gig back in Jersey where he basically belongs, like that's where he needs to be. And but I think it was a great learning experience. He saw the other side of the hockey operations, which, he has so much knowledge. Like they just picked his brain for 3 years is what they did. And they, gave him a nice job and he learned and they learned and it worked out.
And in that vein of scouting and prospects and everything like that, and we were mentioning before about the NFL draft being a success. How do you feel about the upcoming NHL draft when it does happen? Going like virtual and some of these bigger draft. We got to see what's going to happen with it. But do you have any thoughts on any of the prospects coming up?
Everything's roll of dice, man. Like it is. Like who? Like the one kid, the LaFerriere. What? There's gonna be some big boys. There'll be some big boys up. There's always a kid. You know what? I like? I like when everything's said and done, and then all of a sudden, a year later, you look through that draft, and you're like, oh my God, who picked this kid in the 4th round? Who picked this superstar in the 4th round? Like, there's so many guys that just kind of got glossed over, and all of a sudden they figure it out. They just figure it out. They mature. They go to their first training camp and are like, oh, this is what you need to do to be the big boy. Like anytime you walk into the locker room the first time, you're a dominant in juniors. You're the man. No one controlled. Like even I did whatever I wanted. No one controlled me in juniors. Like this, I had money. I had popularity. They had not. Like you do what you want. But then I walk into that Devils locker room after they just won 2 cups in a row, or they just won. And then you see guys that are just cut. Scotty Stevens, like Jay Pandolfo, not a freaking ounce of fat in his body. You're like, oh shit. And then you go out and practice and they're doing this, doing that. I'm like, oh my God, they're men. I'm not. I need to get there. And it's a wake up call. Some people figure it out. Some people don't. I like the 3rd, 4th round guys that are just like this sneaky and they figure it out their first training camp because they're playing against men and they learn how to be a man. And all of a sudden they're fucking dominant. And all of a sudden, the scouting guy that scouted him, is getting a big ass raise, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You said that.
And
Oh, go ahead, Scotty.
Oh no, I was just gonna follow up real quick. You were talking about Scott Stevens there, going out in the corner. We've heard plenty of stories about Scotty in practice and everything like that. Maybe going a little too rough and tumble there in the corners there. So you got any good stories like that?
Well, I didn't really play with Scotty. He was my coach more than anything, but I did go to training camp with him. Look, I didn't go near him. He was the one guy I didn't even hit. I was hitting Dano. I was hitting Colin White. Jim McKenzie, I didn't give a shit. But Scotty, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not fucking going to him. No, just too much. It was just too. He was at the end of his career.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm not even fucking going near you. You're too much. You're too much. Okay. And I think the big man, you know who I'm talking about? The big man who my family and I love more than anything in the world. The big man, I think, respected that I was catching guys awkwardly in training camp. I'm fucking killing guys. I hurt a couple guys. Like, I'm proving myself. And it was still crazy back then where you could be that way. But the one guy I didn't even touch him. And another thing I didn't do is shoot high on Marty. Never shot high. I shot 5-hole every fucking time. I didn't give a shit. I'm not shooting high and hitting him in the fucking neck. No, pardon my language. No way. No way. Pardon my language. No way. Those two guys. Nope.
So you had that moment of like walking in the locker room and you're just kind of like, oh my God, like Scott Stevens, like you're saying, like Jay Pandoff, all these dudes. It's like men. So what was that like? What was that first moment where you're like on the ice, you're out there, whether it be a game or practice or whatever, and you're like, oh, dude, I'm here. Like I made it. Like I can't believe like I got to this point. Like when was that it actually like fully hit you?
Well, when Lou would always put me up with the big guys. Like I had to earn it. Like you get categorized in training camp. And I remember being on a low squad. I'm like, this ain't happening. And I just proved it. And he kept bumping me up to hang out with the bigger guys. And I remember hanging out with the big boys, and we're doing simple drills where you have to pass in the middle. They pass. Pass. I was so bad at passing. They were so fast. I kept hitting them behind. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta figure that out. Like the passing part, when you started skating with the big boys like Gomer and the top-notch guys, where I was doing enough to where they put me in that slot. And I remember doing like 3-on-O's where you go down, you regroup, you come back, you regroup, you go down, you shoot. And my passing was so god awful. Got passing guys' skates, screwing the drill up. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So once I got that down, and I remember like watching like Jamie Langenberger go down, and he's just real confident with the puck, and he just boop, shoot it, and I'm like, God. Or I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And once I figured to be chill, you're a pro, be chill, Cam. Pick that up, baby. Be chill. Like get your groove. That took a little while. I know it sounds corny as shit, but I'm telling you, just your passing and your timing, and like just find your confidence. Your confidence, not fighting, not hitting. That's always going to be there. I had confidence fighting when I was 12 years old. I'm talking passing right, getting up the wall, like just doing everything like smooth. That's when I started doing that. That's when I'm like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, I got this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's funny is I was watching a video. Oh God, I'm gonna butcher this. The 4-9 Project, I think it was called. It was an interview that you did, and you were talking about when you were a kid going to a Blues game, and you were like, I wanted to be Tony Twist. Like I wanted to make my own name. And it was like a cool interview because it was cool to see like the progression of what you were talking about when you were a kid going to a game and you're like, what the hell is this? And where you lived, hockey wasn't that big, but like the Blues made it like that was it. And then once you saw Tony Twist, you're like, that's what I want. That's who I want to be. Like I find that so cool. Like just that.
Yeah, dude. No, that 100%. But let me explain something to you. I did this on NHL. I was on NHL Network. It's funny how all the NHL networks want me to come on Mother's Day. Fine, I'll do that. But I said the same thing today. I said there's different waves that happen with this organization, the Blues organization. You know, they come in as expansion team. They go to the Stanley Cup, 3 years in a row they lose, but they got recognition. Then they went through a funk in the 70s and even the 80s where people are saying, I'm going to sell the team, blah, blah, blah. But you know what happened after that? To where me and my boys started getting into it that all made the NHL. Brett Hall came into town, baby. Brad Hall with that long mullet and that beautiful smile, and he was a cocky bastard, and he did whatever the hell he wanted, and then everybody was obsessed with him. And oh my God, everybody's going to the game like he's the biggest superstar in the city. Even at the Cardinals at the time, he's the biggest superstar in this. He might be the biggest superstar ever to ever come across St. Louis. Even Cardinals, which are gigantic, by the way. But he got us all into it. But then I got to the game because of Hawley. He was on McDonald's posters, everything. But then I went to the game, and I'm like, what? Who is that guy? And he's pummeling, beating the piss out of guys, and Twister's taking his jersey off, and he's got Tony the Tiger tattoo. And I'm looking at, honestly, all the women in the stands are staring at him, going crazy. I'm like, that is the cool. I'm like, Dad, can I be him? Like hell yeah, you can be him, son. Like, okay. Like, I'm not going to be him, but I'll try to be something like that. Jesus Christ. It was just like this guy, and he skated around, no bucket and warm-ups, just cruising around a red line, like, what's up? I'm like, God, that confidence on this guy. I love it. You're not going to score 86, but I can beat the piss out of guys. So I'm gonna start doing that stuff. But yeah, man, just the Blues were entertaining. I went to Cardinals games, and I'm like, what are we at? Like, where's my hot dog? No, Blues games, what is going? Why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? Why is it so fast? Why did he cut him? It's just there's so much action. We got obsessed with it.
Now, are you close with Tony Twist now?
Hell yeah, man. Twister's a man.
That's so wild, man.
He's got. Let me explain. He's got a tight knit group of people that he talks to, and that's it. He's out and about. Yeah. He lives out in the middle of the woods. He does his own thing. He doesn't even come in. I wish he would, but he doesn't. But he's got his tight knit group, and I'm just lucky I'm part of it.
That's amazing. How wild is that, man? As a kid, you think about it as you're a kid watching games, and you're watching them just pummel someone. You're like, I want to be that, and then you end up being friends with the dude.
All of them, man. All of them.
Insane.
Chaser, Twister, all of them. Kimby, all of them, man. All the guys. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And now we're all hang out. We have multi-$100 million facilities that they just built for us. Like locker rooms, multi-million dollar locker rooms. We just sit there and it's a spa in there. And we all hang out and skate together. We have such an unbelievable alumni here. It's ridiculous, man. But it took a long time. 50 years, Brett Hall, kids making it from St. Louis, including myself, was the first guy. Now all these other kids are making it. And then you got the Stanley Cup, and now this hockey in St. Louis it's gigantic. Gigantic.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
No one wants to play football anymore, man. No one wants to play football anymore. They want competitiveness. I'm just saying, even in high school and stuff, parents aren't getting their kids into football anymore, really. They're not. And so hockey's the next best alternative, although it's still dangerous. But it's not football's really dangerous, and I don't know. I played football too. It's just trending in a different direction in St. Louis.
It's amazing.
So is youth hockey has youth hockey now exploded in St. Louis in the last 10 years or something like that?
Dude, exploded when Hawley came, and then we all got into it. I made it. Paul Stasny came in. Brandon Bollig came in. Chris Butler. Then all these kids started making it, and all these other kids that were young are looking at all of us and are like, how the hell did he did that from Eureka? Okay. And so that expanded. And then you win the Cup, and then you get the Winter Classic, and then you get the All-Star Game, and then you get another Winter Classic with Minnesota. It all came together, man. And we deserved it. Not we, the organization deserved it. And, we raised a ton of money. If it wasn't for the Blues and the Cardinals in this city, in St. Louis, they'd be struggling. There's all the Blues and the Cardinals run this town, man. They do, in a good way, charity way. They raise money. They keep businesses alive everywhere. It's just we miss sports, dude. And if anybody says, "Oh, we don't need," whatever. It's a business now. It's a business, and they help out with everything, and they're tight knit with each other, which is great.
Hey, Cam, you were mentioning before about, being a kid and going to Blues games, and, seeing Tony Twist. Who was, and I don't want to ask who your favorite was, because obviously Tony or whatever, but who was your least favorite? Who was the guy that you hated, like the enforcer on the other
different team?
You know, yeah, like I used to. What you're talking about Ty Domi before? After that Niedermeyer incident, like I hated
him, man.
Ty Domi, hated him, and I used to get pissed at Rob Ray from Buffalo because he would sew his pads to the inside of his jersey. And I remember he was like fighting Randy McKay and Mike Peluso, and he would just take his shirt off, and I'm like, why? Are you kidding me? He just did that, you know. So who was your guy that like you just hated? You're like, when I get to NHL, I'm gonna beat the piss out of this guy.
If you're a heavy and you're a killer, I liked you no matter what you did. I went through that phase with Toronto, where like people in Toronto hated me for years after the Caberlet incident. I mean, hated me on Twitter, would like dig up things on me and like post it and like God, like hardcore things. And I'm like, oh Jesus, like oh no, not that. But now I do all these radio shows on Toronto, like Sportsnet and stuff, and now they all like me now because they're like, oh, he's actually kind of nice and normal. But that just shows you how much of a mark that you put on people when they don't really know you, but they see how psycho you are on the ice, but they don't know you as a person, and they hate you. I mean, honestly, I keep my DMs open and stuff because I like that. I'm a business guy. I need to hear what people have to say, even if it's hardcore. And most people are awesome. But the amount of people from Toronto are like, oh my God, Cam, I never knew that you were actually a nice guy or what. And I'm like, oh, like what you did to Cabernet. I honestly wanted to hunt you down and kill him. I'm like, Jesus. But now it's just weird how that goes. But who is the guy that I had? I liked everybody, but there was a couple guys on the Blues I didn't like. And I'm willing to say one name.
Okay.
And when I was young, and my dad didn't like him either. Adam Creighton. Do you remember him? No, you don't. No, you don't. He was 6'8". He was 6'8", and he was soft as baby shit, and we hated him. He got chased around by Gino Odziak one time 6'8", and he was so soft, and he was good at face-offs, I guess, but I couldn't understand it at the time. And me and my dad were like, "Oh God, Creighton's in the lineup. Oh God, sorry, Adam Creighton. You're probably a great guy, but I hated you when you played. Too soft, a little too soft."
Oh, that's
God.
great.
Oh,
That's
killed
funny,
me.
dude.
I know.
When you're playing with the Devils, you're still a Blues fan at heart, right? So like, part of you.
No.
No.
Let me explain. No. I sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know the question you're asking. I know I was a Blues fan when Blues got me into hockey. But once I got drafted by the Devils, I'm like, I don't give a damn about it. I wasn't even a hockey fan. I was just my own fan. Now it sounds weird and selfish. I didn't give a shit about anything but myself. I mean, anything. Besides the Devils and Lou and what was going on in my world. You think I cared about what Blues were doing? I'm playing for the Devils. I don't give a shit about them. I didn't even watch hockey. I watch more hockey now because I have to dissect it and like learn and do this and do that. But when I played, it was just all about in the moment. Who am I playing for? What do I need to do? What am I doing that night? What am I, can I get, can I do something cool to get the fans going? Like, that's it. I didn't give a shit about anything else but what I had in my own little realm. And is that selfish? I don't know. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie to you. Now it's like, Jesus, I got to watch every single team. But when I played, I didn't give a shit about anything except what was going on with me and what my own world was all about. So I think a lot of people are like that. They just don't want to admit it.
And he froze again. Oh, wait, you're back. You're back.
Oh, damn it! It's the internet. Listen. I'm gonna put my head through
living
this
in Stone Age,
man. I know. I'm just sitting here pedaling a wheel underneath my table that you can't see. That's trying to keep the internet going.
Flintstones.
But
yeah.
What was it like? What was it like going from the NHL? You went from the NHL and you went over to C's, and I want to say you played for the Belfast Giants, right?
Nottingham.
Screwed that up.
Nottingham. It's awesome, dude. Let me give you an example on how playing in the American League is fucking hardcore, you guys. Pardon my language again. Playing in the American League is really hardcore. You got big boys all over the place. You're playing 3-on-3s, making good money, but it's a stressful job. Like, God, It just was. And I was going through all kinds of weird times. I didn't know what my next skill set would be. I'm thinking about retiring. You know, I was going through, I'm not even going to get into it, but a lot of stuff that I brought on myself. Don't get me wrong. I brought it on myself. But it was going through hard times. Like, you know, don't feel sorry for me, but it was very, very stressful that last year. So finally, I'm like, I was kind of talking with Lou. He was with Toronto. Like, do I want to go play in American League again? And then somebody came up to me like, what about this team over here? We played over there. It was so fun. So somebody, my buddies that played over in Nottingham before I did, convinced me to go over there. And I went over there. And honestly, guys, I love, by the way, history. And I love castles. And I love English history. And I just love it all. I love King Henry VIII, who killed 6 of his wives. I don't think that's good, but it's interesting. I'm interested in all that kind of stuff. That's in the 1500s, by the way, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But we went over there. We're like, dude, let's go check this out and play. I'm going to toe drag guys. I'm going to score 50 goals a year over there. So I went over there, and it was – I thought I was going to score a ton of goals, but I went out there and did my thing and fought for these fans over there. They love it so much. I think they treated us so well over there because I was one of the few guys that actually went over there and, like, busted my ass, you know. Although I wasn't getting paid much, I just – did it for the fans because they were packed the house every night, and it was England, and the teammates were awesome. Oh my God, that year was so fun. We won 2 championships, but yeah, you're playing the same team basically every other day, and you're fighting the same guys. But it was cool. Like instead of traveling to Springfield, Massachusetts to Binghamton, you're going from like Nottingham to like Fife, Scotland, which you're seeing like castles in the distance. It just was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was a good year to get away, have fun, meet people and see the world and figure out what I want to do after hockey. And then right when I got back, I got job offers for the radio and stuff like that, and it all worked out.
That's awesome. It's so curious to feel like what the hockey atmosphere is out in Europe. You know what I mean? Like you see some cats coming from different areas that are starting to pop up. Like there's a kid they're talking about in a draft from England, and it's like I've always been curious what the whole atmosphere is like there. Like how do they take to hockey? Like do they support it like other sports, or is it kind of like They
like the physicality, man. They're crazy over there. They love it. They're beer drinking, proud people, and they're fun, and they loved it. And they want to put a show on, and I did. And Kate and I can go over there right now, and they'll carry us across and put a red carpet anywhere we wanted to go. I mean, they honestly would. And like they listen to my podcast, listen to my radio show. They connect with me every day. Kate and I walked around, and we did anything I'm so good with fans, and I know how to be that way, and I love it, and I get a kick out of doing that. And it gives me a euphoric high when I make people happy, like especially fans, like. Even when I got hurt in Jersey my second year and I was out for 6 months, I had a meeting with Lou, and I go, Lou, I'm going to be out. I'm 22 years old. Can you put me on an autograph signing for free? You don't have to pay me. You already pay me. Just put me through. I want to be at every rink. And Lou did that, and I just met fans and built this up. I just love doing that stuff. We did it over in England. And again, I got some funny pictures. Oh, my God, it's hilarious, man. I got some like this. Like, look at this. See that? They made like a chat rubbish. Like, what does rubbish mean? That's a get cammed. It's like, just that kind of stuff. It was so cool, man. It was. And but again, I fought a lot over there too. So I put a show on, man. It is what it is.
So were those games only within like England, Scotland, and that, or did you get to play other teams in continental Europe or anything like that, like in friendlies and scrimmages and stuff?
No, we. I think it was a year after that they did the old circuit where they do the It's very confusing, by the way. I was confused even like halfway through the season. I still didn't know what the championships were. I was still confused. I'm like, I just want to win every game. Let's just go do. It didn't matter. But we went to Belfast and stuff. Like I didn't want to I didn't want to fly. I like taking 6-hour bus rides when I'm looking at beautiful mountains and castles and chilling. I don't want to fly anywhere. I'm sick of flying. We're not flying private anyway, which I'm kind of used to. No offense, I'm a princess now. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fly commercial. So it's like, so it's like I was good on that,
So what landmarks when we get over, when Sam Wu gets our private jet and we can fly over to Europe and Scotland, like what's some good landmarks that we should go check out over there?
It just depends on what you're into, dude. Like, I'm into history,
There it is.
man. I'm a history buff. So go to York, which is like an ancient town where the Romans came and they built like a huge thing, and then William the Conqueror built the first. There's so much history. You could walk down these little like streets where there's little pubs everywhere, and like if you go back and look at anything, like you look at the streets back in the day, it's the exact same thing. Cobblestone houses that kind of bend in. It's just really, really cool. I get a kick out of it, especially if you're married. Like, you know, if you're a party guy and you're single, go to Spain. But if you're going to Nottingham and you like history and you're married, you want to cruise around with your girl and go to pubs and drink beer and meet people and socialize, because I'm a social butterfly, that's what we do. We loved it.
Very
Did
cool.
you make your way over to Dublin at all when you're there?
Oh, Dublin. No, Belfast was it. We had Titanic stuff there. Then you have the, the Catholics versus the Protestants? The big feud. Catholic to Protestant. Yeah. We saw that. And then I like going to bars in Scotland or in Ireland or in England and mingling with people. I could talk to anybody, anywhere. You know, and it's like, I always wanted to be able to be so outgoing to where I don't care where you're at in the world. If they speak English and they're talking about any topic, I could possibly chime in and not sound like a jackass. That's like my goal of being a social butterfly. And that's what we did. I talked to everybody. And all of a sudden you meet friends and like, oh, you want to come here? Let me show you this. Let me show you that. And so me and Kate just like, we just got treated like royalty. It was nice.
Dude, that's the best way to go through life.
I know, dude.
No, yeah.
But you got to bring it on the ice.
The reason I ask is because I went to Dublin for a weekend, and it was the same thing. Like, you just go out to the pub, and people will talk to you, and you'll talk to people, and it was just everyone there was just great, and it was just such a good time. And like you said with the history, like I teach history, so I love going into those old hole in the wall places that are just, you know, the pubs are older than our country. And you're walking in and this pub's been there forever, and it's like, wow, I'm drinking in a place that has people have drank here for centuries. It's like, it's just so cool to go over there because it is so old compared to what we're used to, you know. And even for us here, the East Coast is older than the Midwest and the West. So, you know, being in St. Louis, you're from a you know, sort of a younger city than we are on the East Coast, you know, with all our history here.
Like, I live in Eureka. Eureka was late 1800s, and that's fine. And there's history here too. But no, like, I was going to castles in Nottingham, and it's called the Yeo Pub. Kate and I would go there like, oh my God, I spent so much money, by the way. We'd go to pubs. Like, this pub was like the first pub ever, like 1106. 1106? What? Like, what does that even mean? What? Like, I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, they played the right music. Nobody was crowded. Kate and I had our little nook in this place that just like, and we just sat there and just stared at the wall and drank, and we're like, oh my God, where are we? It gives you away from your mind a little bit. And I love that stuff, man. I do.
Dude, my wife and I went to, I know we're going off in like a weird tangent, but welcome to our podcast, because this is usually what we do. We end up going way off the rails. But my wife and I went to Japan a couple years ago, and we walked into this temple, and I'm like looking at all this like insane woodwork, and I'm like putting my hands on it, and there's this person standing next to us, and they're like, what do you do? Because I'm like feeling the walls like they're made out of braille, and I can't see anything. This person's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, dude, this place was built in the year 700. Someone built this with their bare hands. And I'm like, you can't. How can you not? Like,
that's the Dark Ages, man. Like, no one even knew. Like, and Dark Ages are kind of a weird thing anyway. But there's not much going on. Like the end of the Roman Empire. Like, it's just like it was a kind of a weird phase. 700. That's so old school, man. I love that stuff, dude. I absolutely love it. I look up, especially now in quarantine. I look up so much weird shit on YouTube. I'm out of my mind. What else do you do? I can finally do that now. For the past 3 years, I got to watch sports every second of the day because I got dissected on my radio show. But now I'm like, fuck that. I'm looking up old school crap. I'm going to look up conspiracy theories. It is what it is. I know.
And Cam, you were mentioning drinking some beers in the pubs. Now, I don't know if everyone don't they serve certain beers like room temperature over like in Scotland and right? Don't they serve some of them? Which obviously for Americans that's like right.
I didn't even care.
No?
I mean, did they? I don't. Kate, did they serve room temperature beer over there? Yeah, I don't think so. No, we would both would have complained about that. The food. Maybe you're right on that. I don't know. Maybe I
thought it was Scotland.
I didn't even give a shit.
That.
Maybe I'm like I'm spending 10 pounds on this damn thing. Just give me whatever the hell you got. But no, the food. We're spoiled over here with food, especially you guys in Jersey. You're spoiled with food.
We are.
All you
100%.
and we and Kate want to go over there just to eat for like 24 hours and put on 15 pounds. But the food wasn't great. But they love their beer, man, and they're so cool and they're fun and they're all outgoing and witty. And the biggest chirps I've ever had from fans when I'm in a penalty box came from playing over in England. They would rip me apart so bad to where I'd turn around and be like, "Oh my God, that was a good one." And by the end of it, I was so impressed by their chirps that I became friends with all the fans, and it actually helped me play better. I know. I'm good at doing that. I know. Instead of being like, "Screw you," I'm like, "Oh, what's up? That was good." And there's like, "Oh God, I like Cam now. Now I'm going to root for him." So I actually, I turned the tables on him. Yep.
Did any of those teams over in?
What's that?
Oh, I was saying, have you ever thought about opening up your own bar or opening up?
Oh,
your
hell
own
no.
pub?
No. I don't know. Open a pub and then do. I don't know anything about restaurants. I don't know anything about hiring people to run it. I don't want to put my name on something. I've had people ask me to put my name on restaurants. I'm like, nah. I'll do my own thing. I don't want to be in a restaurant every single day. I don't want to have people rip me off every day. I don't want people to come in and expect free beer because I'd hook everybody up for free and I would never make money anyway. No, I'm not doing it. Not doing
You're
it.
like Paulie from Goodfellas. I don't know about this restaurant business. What is the restaurant
not
business?
Doing it.
What do they want?
Not doing it. Not doing it. I know what I do to my buddies when I go in their places. I don't want that happening to me. Seriously. I see it.
Oh, man.
Well, Cam, this has been awesome having you on the show. It's been a lot of fun just chilling out and talking and, talking some hockey and talking some real life as well. Can you tell everyone where they can hear you, all the time, your podcasts and radio shows and everything?
Who cares about my radio show? That's a local thing. But my podcast with Andy Strickland, Cam and Strick Pod, we got Jeremy Roenick coming on tomorrow, which he hasn't done really an interview after he got fired. I know. We're big dogging it. We get everybody, man. We get Hall of Famers on. We get everybody on. I bring my game. Andy's professional. It's a great balance. But check us out, Cam and Strick Pod. It's on Twitter. Follow me on everything, man. I'll entertain you. I got a lot of things going on with that stuff. So, Cam Janssen 25 Twitter. Look my stuff. Just type in my name and you'll find it. It's easy. So appreciate you guys having me on, man. Seriously.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for coming on.
We appreciate you coming on.
Anytime, guys. Anytime, man. Tell everybody in Jersey I said what's up, and I'm going to come back there next year when all this stuff comes back to normal. I went last year. We're going to make it a year thing. Kate and I are going to go and visit all our friends in Jersey. I met a ton of friends out there, and we love them all. I crave that place, and I'm going to put on 20 pounds when I eat all your food.
Hell yeah. We'll have to take you out for a couple beers, too.
Right on, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
seriously.
expensive. Trust me. You don't know you. I'm expensive.
Hey, listen, my father-in-law owns a bar, so we can go there. He'll take care of you.
Oh, good. Now he knows. No, you'll see what I'm talking about when I go in there. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, thank you.
Right on, guys. We'll talk soon. Right on, guys.
Yep. And until next week, everybody, let's go Devils.
Devils.